Let's try a quick mental exercise. Think about the last time you genuinely changed your mind about a deeply held belief. I don't mean a casual preference, like swapping pasta for rice. I mean shifting a firm stance on a social issue or entirely rewriting your judgment of a person in your life. If you're coming up blank, you aren't alone. We see ourselves as objective, rational people, but it is remarkably difficult to pinpoint a single moment where someone else's perspective actually moved the needle for us. We have access to an infinite stream of facts at our fingertips, yet our basic capacity to listen to contradictory information and adapt our worldview is broken. When someone challenges your beliefs, your brain processes that intellectual friction as a literal and immediate physical threat. In 2016, neuroscientist Jonas Kaplan used an MRI to watch the brains of subjects while they were presented with hard evidence that directly contradicted their core political and social beliefs. The scans revealed that when subjects faced contradictory information, a specific node near the brains lit up, the amygdala. It's our ancient biological alarm system. Its sole purpose is to detect mortal danger and flood the body with fear for survival. To your neurons, hearing the words "you are wrong" produces the same chemical panic as facing a deadly predator in the wild. This heated defensiveness is a survival protocol. Because the brain conflates identity with belief, it uses the identical biological machinery to protect a worldview that it uses to protect a body. These intense, seemingly irrational arguments are the result of a perfectly executed biological defense mechanism. Your ego perceives a threat of erasure, and your biology steps in to prevent it. Once the amygdala sounds that alarm, what exactly does the conscious, thinking part of your mind to make sense of the panic? Psychologist Jonathan Haidt maps this out using the elephant and the rider model. The massive elephant represents our fast, deeply emotional intuition. The tiny rider on top represents our slow, rational logic. We assume this part is in control, steering the massive animal. But the emotional elephant usually moves first. The moment an opposing opinion enters the ear, the intuition decides it dislikes the idea and begins charging before the rider can even begin to process the facts. Instead of steering toward truth, the rider acts as a PR agent, drafting logically sounding justifications for the direction the elephant has already chosen to run. This internal chaos produces a very specific, observable behavioral consequence known as the Backfire Effect. This graph charts the mechanics of the effect. When you present a defensive person with a high volume of objective, contradictory facts, their conviction does not steadily drop. Instead, it sharply spikes upward as they become more radically entrenched in their original position. Because identity and belief are biologically entangled, conceding to raw data feels like being diminished. This is the reality of human logic. We do not reason our way towards objective truth. We reason our way towards emotional confirmation. Knowing that our brains conflate identity with biology changes how we approach arguments with family members, with our coworkers, or strangers online. Throwing more data and bullet points at an opponent is useless. That tactic only attacks the rider, which in turn severely agitates the elephant. When a conversation hits an absolute, impenetrable wall, remember that you are encountering an ancient biological framework designed for defense. This is the room we are all standing in. We operate inside a shared network of defense mechanisms that dictate how we interact. To move the needle and change someone's mind, we have to move past the weaponization of facts. We have to look at your group chats, your quote tweets, and your comment sections. We are living inside a conflict machine, constantly locked in argument. But arguing and disagreeing are not the same thing. Arguing is two people trying to win. Disagreeing, productive disagreement, is two people trying to figure out what is true. However, in the digital architecture where we spend our lives, that second path is becoming increasingly rare. Why has this productive form of communication become so difficult to find? It's tempting to assume that we have simply become less intelligent or more hostile, but our intelligence hasn't changed. We are operating inside an environment that inherently breaks our ability to perceive reality. To understand why, we have to look at the foundational architecture of social media. These platforms are not built to discover truth or facilitate nuance. They are explicitly designed to optimize for engagement.
The primary mechanical drivers of that engagement are emotional outrage and tribal signaling. Consider what happens when you post a carefully reasoned 10-minute explanation that acknowledges the complexity of a situation. The system identifies the lack of an immediate emotional spike, labels it boring, and the algorithm hides it. But if you post a sharp, emotionally charged take that dunks on the other side, the system immediately rewards that input, propelling it into viral visibility. This creates a cycle of Pavlovian conditioning. We are being trained to flatten our own thinking. We remove the qualifications and the maybes because we have learned that the machine only rewards absolute positions. The algorithm is not a passive mirror. It is an active behavioral tool that rewards performative conflict while punishing wisdom. When this conditioning scales from the individual to the entire society, our shared information landscape begins to fracture. This is the filter bubble. As Eli Pariser noted in 2011, algorithms isolate us by only showing us the information we already like. The result is a state of epistemic fragmentation. This means we no longer have a shared referee for objective truth. We aren't just disagreeing on conclusions, we are disagreeing on the basic reality of the room. Imagine trying to play a game of football on this field. One team looks at the field and is convinced the ball is actually a bird. The other team looks down and perceives the grass as fire. You cannot have a debate or a game when the two sides cannot agree on the physical elements in front of them. Under epistemic fragmentation, disagreements are never resolved. Without a shared referee, the conversation just gets louder and more disconnected. Moving past the logic of the conflict machine requires a deliberate shift in how we engage with the other side. Most of us default to straw manning, finding the weakest version of an opponent's argument so we can easily knock it down. The alternative is a concept called steel manning. This is the active construction of the strongest, most structurally sound version of your opponent's argument. You have only succeeded when you can state the other person's position so well that they say, "Exactly, I couldn't have said it better myself." This requires earning the right to disagree through genuine intellectual humility. Steady, steel manning is the only tool capable of piercing the filter bubble, moving the objective from winning the argument to actually learning something new. This breakdown in our individual interactions eventually scales upward. At its simplest level, a democracy is a system designed for managing human disagreement. That system rests on the assumption that human minds can be changed through argument and evidence. If we lose the ability to persuade each other, we lose the ability to move forward together. Our current inability to disagree well is not a sign of collective stupidity. It is a sign that our environment is tilted toward entrenchment. But once we recognize the machine, we can change the goal of the interaction. It is no longer about securing a victory. The goal is simply to sustain the conversation long enough to see the human on the other side. Find someone you disagree with today and try to build them a steel man.